Okay, so this is a key to section 1.6 part 3, and in these problems you're solving absolute value equations. Alright, so when solving an absolute value equation, you have to make sure the absolute value bar is by itself on one side, like this. So it's got to look like this. So this right here does not look like this because it's subtraction 2, and so on. So in number 1, the absolute value bar is already by itself. So the next step, once it's by itself, is to rewrite this absolute value equation as two equations without the absolute value bars. So basically, you're gonna rewrite the expression without the absolute value bars. You're gonna say 3x minus 4. So whatever's inside the absolute value bar, you just rewrite it, is equal to 10. And then you're gonna say 3x minus 4 is equal to the opposite of 10. So the expression, you're gonna write it twice, just like this. And then you're going to say whatever this number is, you're going to say that number, and then its opposite. So that's how you're going to write it. So I went from an absolute value equation to two linear equations. And so we're going to add 4 to both sides. And so I get, when you combine like terms, I get 3x equals 14. And so therefore x equals 14 divided by 3. So that's your solution. Oops, that's one of them. Over here, you add 4 to both sides. Combine like terms, I get 3x equals a negative 6. And if you divide both sides by 3, I get x to be negative 2. Alright, so those are your two solutions, a negative 2 and a positive 14 thirds. Okay, the next absolute value equation, you got to get the absolute value expression by itself. So you have to add 2 to both sides. Combine like terms, I get absolute value 2x minus 7 is equal to 5. Alright, once you get the absolute value expression by itself, you break it down to two linear equations. In this case, it will be linear. So you say 2x minus 7. So you rewrite this without the absolute value bar, so it's whatever's inside the absolute value bars. So 2x minus 7 equals 5, and then 2x minus 7 equals the opposite of 5. So it'll be negative 5. So notice, just like this, you rewrite it without the absolute value bars, so whatever's inside the absolute value bars, you write it twice. And then you're going to say, on the other side, on the right side, you'll say 5 and negative 5. And then you solve each of those equations. So you add 7 to both sides. Combining like terms, you get 2x equal 12. So x is 6. So that's one of your solutions. Over here, you add 7 to both sides. Combine like terms, that's 0 here. So you get 2x equal 2. So x is 1. So your solutions are 6 and 1. Okay, now over here, if you look at this, I am multiplying this absolute value expression by 3. So what you want to do is to get a 1 here. So you see how when I got to this point, that was a 1 times the absolute value, that was a 1 times the absolute value. That's what you want here. So what you're going to do next is go ahead and divide both sides by 3. And so 3 divided by 3 is 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1. And so then you're left with the absolute value of 5x minus 1 is equal to, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. And so notice now you have the absolute value expression by itself. So now you're going to write as two linear, since this is linear, it'll be two linear equations. Alright, so you're going to say what's inside the absolute value bar, so it's 5x minus 1 is going to equal 4, and then 5x minus 1 is equal to the opposite of 4. So remember, you just rewrite what's inside, 5x minus 1, 5x minus 1. 3x minus 4, 3x minus 4. 2x minus 7, 2x minus 7. And on the other side, on the right side, whatever that number that is, you'll say 4 and its opposite. Okay, plus 1, so you're going to add 1 to both sides. So I get 5x equals 5, so x is 1. Over here, when you add 1 to both sides, combine like terms, I get 5x equals a negative 3. Divide both sides by 5, I get x to be a negative 3 fifths. So I get negative 3 fifths, comma 1. Alright, over here. So this one kind of looks like the one we just did here. So you can get the absolute value bar by itself. So right now I'm adding 5, the opposite is to subtract 5. Combine like terms, I get the absolute value of 2 minus 5x is equal to 7. And then now I can write it as two absolute value equations. I'm sorry, two linear equations. So I get 2 minus 5x equals 7. So remember, 2 minus 5x, 2 minus 5x equal 7 and its opposite. Alright, so then we subtract 2 from both sides. Combine like terms to get negative 5x equals 5. Divide both sides by negative 5. Reduce, I get x to be a negative 1. Okay, so that's one of your solutions. Over here, we subtract 2 from both parts, from both sides, combine like terms. 0 and negative 5x is negative 5x equal negative 7 and negative 2 is a negative 9. The next step is to get x by itself, break down multiplying by negative 5. The opposite of multiplying by negative 5 is to divide by negative 5. And I expect you to know that negative 5 divided by negative 5 is 1. 1 times x is x. Also, the fact that a negative divided by negative is a positive, so you need to write it as a positive 9/5. And that's your solution there. Okay, so that's how you solve absolute value equations. So that will take care of section 1.6, part 3.